Okay. There we go. If she agreed to bring him money, a silver seller becomes 6 dinners. Um, the groom takes upon him 10 dinners and for the basket for 100. Reb Shimon ben Gamil says everything follows the local custom. If one marries off his daughter without specifying, he should not give her less than 50 zuz. If he agreed to take her in unprovided, the husband cannot say, "When I take her into my house, I will clothe her with my clothing." Rather, he must clothe her while she is still in her father's house. Likewise, if one marries off an orphan, he may not give her less than 50 zuz. If there is sufficient in the kofar, they provide her according to the honor due her. An orphan who is married off by her mother or her brothers with her consent, and they assign to her in writing 100 or 50 zuz, when she becomes of age, exact from the hand what should be right. Buddha says if he marries, given in this one. The Chaman, however, he becomes rich, or rich and he becomes poor. Rather, they appraise the property and give her. Okay.
All right. Hamashlish Maus Levito. So here's a guy who appoints a trustee for his daughter. Okay, and perhaps because he realizes that he's not well, he wants to make sure that she's taken care of after his death. He appoints a trustee for her, and tells him, "Yeah, buy some property over here. This property should be given as part of the nadunya for her wedding when she gets married." Okay, and before the trustee gets the chance to do the action, the father dies, and the daughter she's already married. She's the Erisin. She hasn't gone to the chuppah yet. She's still in Erisin. Okay, and she says, "Neman bali alai. I trust my husband. Why, it's going to come to my nadunya anyway. Just give the money straight to my husband, and he'll know what to do with it." Okay. Yaseh hashlish ma shehu shlash biyado. Says Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says that the trustee has got to ignore the daughter and do what the father told him to do, because that's his shlichus. Okay. Rabbi Yossi Omer, he says that's pointless to force him to do what the father did, because in any case he can buy the field on her behalf, and she can immediately sell it and give the money to her husband. So, like, what exactly have you gained over here? So says Rabbi Yossi, rather let the shaliach do what the daughter says, because it'll come to that anyway. So when is this so that they have this machlokes? It's only with the gedola. And by the way, there's another point over here that Kahati points out over here, that they only this is with a girl who's already come of age, okay, which means that she has the capacity to do business, which means that she could sell the field. And furthermore, Kahati points out this is only talking about when she's in the state of an arusa, because if she was already married and living in her husband's house, then even Rabbi Meir would agree that you could listen to her, because even the father only intended to hand it. His intention was to hand over the money to the trustee only until she goes to the chuppah. And once she goes to the chuppah, then the husband is in any case entitled to the peiros. Okay, so then Rabbi Meir wouldn't raise any objections at all there. But and furthermore, it is only talking about a gedola. But the katana ein maaseh katana klum. So there, Rabbi Yossi would concede that, well, since she has no ability to trade before she's a gedola, therefore the trustee must listen to the father. Yeah. Perek Zayin. Hamad diris ishto milei hanosla. So here we have previously we had a case where the husband asserted himself to his wife, and this one over here is where his neder asks his wife to have benefit from him. Right? If it's up to, if it's so this is talking in a case, we explain, I think the Gemara explains here, it's talking about where he has already, they have an agreement that she doesn't have to, that he doesn't have to feed her, because the fact is that if he has an obligation to give him a zonas, he can't now take a neder that she's not allowed to benefit from him, because he has a chiyuv to feed her. So then his neder would not be affected. So we must be talking here about a case where they've already got a situation where he's not giving him a zonas and she's not giving him maser daim. So she's working for herself and feeding herself. Okay, but nonetheless, there are still things, that she's able to cover the costs, the basic costs of whatever she needs to get by. But she doesn't have all the little pinukim that she used to have in her father's house, and she still wants that. Okay, so if the husband decides, I feel a little bad about this neder, what he can do is he can sort of go in a roundabout way, as we learned in the Darim. You can pay somebody else. No, that's actually not what I'm going to say. Don't forget that. But he can't appoint a shaliach to give her the things that he wants to give her, because your shaliach is like you.
No.
So what he can do though is he can say, listen, anyone who wants to feed my wife and give her gifts or whatever is not going to lose by it. And they can do a sort of a harama that Joe over there is going to give her the little extra things, and the husband will give some sort of compensation to Joe. Okay, so that's so that could work as a subterfuge. Okay, so that's what the Mishna is saying, is that if he only does this for 30 days, in other words, if he makes his neder that she shouldn't benefit from him for 30 days, then he should find this Joe to go and give her the little extras for her.
But if he made a vow that she can't get any benefit from him for 30 days, and he pays someone else to take care of her,
yes,
she's still getting benefit from him.
That's when it's direct. If it's direct that he's hiring, if he's hiring an agent, then that doesn't solve his neder problem. It's got to be a sort of a harama, like the light in the fridge is on and it's a problem for me,
Right.
As he can sort of give that sort of hinting thing that he'd love, what can he do? He loved his wife is his wife needs these things, and he's taken a neder for 30 days. What can he do? And somebody will get the hint. Right. Go and give the wife something and say, "Oh, thank you so much. Have a gift from me." Okay. But if it's more than 30 days and the wife is unhappy with the situation, she can demand a divorce and a kesubah. Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'Yisrael chodesh echad yikayem u'shnayim yotzi v'yitem kesubah. The kohenes shnayim yikayem u'shlosha yotzi v'yitem kesubah. He says if it's 1 month or up to 1 month, and it's possible that his machlokes of the Tanna Kama is about whether it's 30 days. Or whether it's a halachic month, which could be 29 days. Okay, because the first Tana said 30 days, and Rabbi Yehuda is saying chodesh. So if it's up to a month, he says, then they can keep then that's not enough for her to demand a divorce. But if it's more than that, then she can demand a divorce and a kesubah. But if it's a kohenis, if this is talking about a kohen who cannot take back his grusha, then we give him 2 months grace period to get a hataras nadarim. Or if the neder was originally only for 2 months, then we say, okay, that's not enough grounds for divorce.
When they're talking about he pronounces a vow on his wife, forbidding her to have any benefit from him, we're just talking about mazonos, or we're talking about relations, or anything else, or anything.
The pashtus is that we're talking about any kind of benefit.
Any kind, right? That's what I thought. Right.
Yeah.
Wait. It says here, Rabbeinu Tam maintains that the language of this vow does not even imply marital relations, but only that she may not be supported by him.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with Rabbeinu Tam.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right. Now, Mishnah base starts with Hamadir is Ishto Shelot Yitzom Echad Mikol HaPeros. He takes a vow that his wife should not taste any peros. And the first question you got to ask is like, can you do that?
Wait, I'm sorry. It doesn't say any Paris. On this one, it says a certain fruit.
A certain peros, okay.
Okay. All right.
Any certain fruit, but
Right.
can you do that? Like, does a man have the authority to make a vow that is binding on his wife that she should not enjoy a certain fruit? And the answer is no, you can't do that. But what he can do is she took the vow on herself, and now the husband has the power to say ani mefer. He can wipe out her vow.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
But what he also has the power to do is say, I confirm your vow. Amen. Okay. So now, if so the situation is where the wife was feeling whatever uh, she was feeling upset and hurt, and she said, I take a neder that I'll never eat apples again. And the husband says, Amen. Like, she says, wait, you were supposed to cancel that. That wasn't the script. She wanted her husband to rescue her, and instead
Right.
he slammed the door in front of her. Says the Mishna, Yotzi v'iten kesuba. Immediately. Now this is very interesting because as distinct from the previous cases where he took the neder and we gave him a month grace period, or even 2 months if he was a Kohen, to like calm down and go and get a Hataris Nadarim. In this case, however, we say that was absolutely it was unforgivable. And if the wife is demands, she can say she can go based in that day and say I want my kesubah. Okay, so what's the difference is that if the husband's taking the neder, then he is then perhaps the case is that he got all verhitzt and in the middle of his anger he made a neder that she shouldn't enjoy, but give him 30 days to calm down and he'll realize that was a silly thing to do and he'll get a hataris nadarim. But this is a case where he was in a perfectly calm demeanor and she was the one who was verhitzt, and he said, you know what, your problem now. So that is like a demonstration of such enmity between the husband and wife, where he says, you know what, I'm going to stick it to you. That's a case where she says he clearly hates me that he would do such a thing to me. Rabbi Yehuda clarifies the case. He says, "Israel yom echad yikayim shnayim yotzi v'yiten kesubah." If it's Israel, he's got 1 day to sort it out. But if it's 2 days, then he must give her a kesubah. And but if it's a kohen, he gets 2 days, and then after 3 days he has to divorce her and give her a kesubah. Yeah. How is he going to fix this after 2 days? Actually, this is an interesting question. The halacha here does not follow Rabbi Yehuda anyway, but interesting. Could he find a way to get her Taras Nadarim then? Because it's not his neder, it's her neder. So if it was more than one, maybe if she specified in the neder that it was only 1 day or only 2 days, that's what we would judge by. Because I don't know if he can get the Hataris Nadarim for this case in any case. All right. Kesubos Daled.
The father has the authority over his daughter regarding her erison, whether affected by money, by document, or by relations. He has the right to her findings, her handiwork, and the absolution of her vows, and he receives her bill of divorce, but he does not enjoy the usra during her lifetime. If she married, the husband exceeds him in that he enjoys the usra during her lifetime. He is liable for her support, her ransom, and her burial. Rabbi Yehuda says, even if the poorest in Israel may not hire fewer than 2 flutes and a lamenting woman. she is still under the authority of her father until she enters the authority of her husband at marriage. If the father gave over to the agents of the husband, she is in the authority of her husband. If the father went along with the husband's agents, or if the father's agents went along with the husband's agents, she is still in the authority of her father. If the father's agents gave her over to the husband's agents, she's in the authority of the husband. The father is not liable for his daughter's support. This exposition did Rev. Elazar ben Azariah expound before the sages in the Academy of Yavna. The sons will inherit and the daughters will be sustained, just as the sons inherit only after the father's death. So are the daughters supported only if their father's death. Okay.
Lamas. Good Daled.
A man whose wife went overseas and they came and told him, your wife died, and he married her sister, and afterwards his wife reappeared, she may return to him. He is permitted to marry the relatives of the second woman. The second woman is permitted to marry his relatives, and if the first woman dies, he's permitted to marry the second. If they told him, your wife died, and he married her sister, and afterwards they told him she was alive then, but now she is dead, the child born before is a mamzer, but not the child born after. Rav Yossi says, anyone who disqualifies for others disqualifies for himself, and anyone who does not disqualify others does not qualify for himself. If they told him your wife died, and he married her paternal sister, and then they told him she died, and he married her paternal sister, and then they told him she died, and he married her paternal sister, and then they told him she died, and he married her maternal sister, and then it was discovered they are all alive, he is permitted to the first, third, and fifth, and they released their co-wives, but he's prohibited to the second and fourth, and cohabitation with either of them does not release a co-wife. However, if he cohabitated with the second after the first one's death, he is permitted to the second and fourth, and they release their co-wives. But he's prohibited to the third and fifth, and cohabitation with either of them does not release co-wife. A boy 9 years and 1 day old disqualifies the Yavama from the brothers, and the brothers disqualify her for him. However, he disqualifies her only at the beginning, whereas the brothers disqualify her both at the beginning and at the end. How so? A boy 9 years and 1 day old who cohabitated with Yavama disqualifies her for the brothers. If any of the brothers cohabitated with her, divorced her, or perform chalitza with her, they disqualified her for him. A little confusing.
Sukkah Daled Yud.
Sukkah. Just as he performed on a weekday, so it is performed on the Sabbath. Excuse me. Except that he would fill an unconsecrated golden barrel on the eve of the Sabbath from the Shiloach and place it in a chamber. If they spilled or uncovered, he would fill it from the laver, and for uncovered wine and water are unfit for the altar. 6 days, this is the fluid of the base waiver, which overrides near the Sabbath or festival. They said, whoever did not see the rejoicing of the base of Shueva never saw rejoicing in his lifetime. At the conclusion of the first festival day of Sukkot, they descended to the women's court, where they made great improvements. There were golden candelabra there with 4 golden bowls atop them, 4 ladders for each candelabra, and 4 youths from among the young priests, holding pitchers of oil containing 120 lots, which poured into each bowl.
Yud base.
If one grated an apple and put it into dough and leavened it, it is forbidden. If barley fell into a cistern of water, even though it tainted the water, it is permitted. If one heated an oven with cumin of teruma and baked in it, the bread is permitted since there is no taste, but only the aroma of cumin. If fenugreek fell into a wine vat of teruma or maisasheni, if the seed was sufficient to impart a flavor, but not the stalk, if of the 7th year of vineyard kalayim or hegdish, if the seed and wood impart a flavor. You look confused.
Yeah, I am. I think you skipped.
I skipped something.
I think you skipped something. Yeah. Which Mishnah did you just finish?
Mr. Hay?
We're supposed to do base Gimel Dalet, but I didn't. Did Did you skip it?
I did. I
Turn
did
2 pages or
three,
something,
four,
maybe.
3, 4, and
2, 3, and 4.
oh, I'm sorry.
Did you do? Because I think you skipped a page somewhere. Go back to
I
Gimel,
did.
please.
Yes. Okay. Okay. If one takes out the oven warm bread and puts it over the mouth of teruma wine, Reb Meir forbids it, but Reb Yehuda permits it. Reb Yossi permits of wheat, but forbids of barley because barley absorbs. Okay, that's what I
And
missed.
then Dalit, did you do Dalit the oven that he?
I did. Yeah, I did. I'll do it again. If one heated an oven with cumin of truma and baked in it, the bread is permitted since there is no taste, but only the aroma of.
Say that. Thanks.
Sorry about that.
Olos
Okay.
Vav.
If the truma is inside the house, when tahor people pass over him, Beis Shammai declare them tahor, whereas Beis Hillel declares them tameh. A dog ate corpse flesh and then died, and is presently lying across the threshold of a house. Reb Meir says, if its neck is a handbreadth wide, tumah spreads into the house, and if not, tumah does not spread into the house. Reb Yossi says, we check the tumah. If it is inside the doorstop, the house becomes tameh. If it is outside the doorstop, the house remains tahor. If Eliezer says, if its mouth is inside, the house remains tahor. If his mouth is outside, the house becomes tameh because the tumah exits through its rear. Reb Yehuda ben Zepasera says, in any of these cases, the house becomes tameh. How long can the corpse flesh remain inside and still convey tumah? 3 24-hour periods. And regarding birds and fish, long enough to be thrown into a fire and become burnt. These are the words of Reb Shimon. And Reb Yehuda ben Lasara says regarding birds and fish for 24 hours. A cistern inside a house contains a candelabra whose lampstand protrudes upward. An olive pressing basket lies on the lampstand in such a way that if the candelabra were removed, the olive pressing basket would rest on its cistern. Beis Shammai says the cistern remains tahor and the candelabra becomes tameh, whereas Beis Hillel says the candelabra also remains tahor. They both agree that if removing the candelabra causes the olive pressing basket to fall, everything becomes tameh. And vote is off. Okay. Olive Zion. One may not sell them bears or lions or anything that has in it the potential to cause injury to the public. One may not build with them a basilica, a scaffold, or a stadium or a platform, but one may build with them, but most, I can't get that, mimosas and bathhouses. When they reach the vault in which they place an idol, it is forbidden to build. One may not ornaments for an idol, such as necklaces, earrings, or finger rings, but Reb Eliezer says for a payment, it is permitted. And one may not sell them anything attached to the ground, but one may sell it when it is cut. Reb Yehuda says he may sell it to him on the condition that it be cut. And one may not rent them houses in Eretz Yisrael, and it is needless to mention fields. In Soria, one may rent them houses, but not fields. And outside of Eretz Yisrael, one may sell them houses and rent them fields. These are the words of Reb Meir. Reb Yossi says in Eretz Yisrael, one may rent them houses, but not fields. In Soria, one may sell them houses and rent them fields. And outside of Eretz Yisrael, one may sell them both, these and those. Even in a place in which they said it is permitted to rent, they did not say so for a place. They did not say so for a place of dwelling because it brings idols into it. As is written, do not bring an abomination into your house. In any place, he should not rent him a bathhouse because it is called by his name.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
All right.
For today.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. It's a great day for running. It's a good day for running, nice and
I'm
cool.
not so sure. The air quality doesn't look so good. I'm looking outside. But anyway, I'm going to gym today.
Okay, have a good one. Thank you. See you tomorrow, Mr. Shem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.